We make great pets. We make great pets. Hello, Mr. Ridgely. How are you, my dear friend?
I am well. How are you, Mr. Madison?
I am beyond well. I had a very, very nice weekend. I have to keep my head right here because I usually put a big blanket on my TV set because my overhead light does that. But as the sad, unprofessional sack I am, I forgot to do it on this show. And seeing I never wear pants on this show, I can't get up and throw the blanket on it now. So I have to
do a pretty good job of blocking the
Yes, because it's enormous. I have an enormous head.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of David Lee Madison's The End of the Night. Thank you very much for joining us on what we're sure is a busy Mother's Day, and thank you for taking a break from playing Resident Evil.
Absolutely, absolutely. And another great episode of The End of the Night brought to you by Film Hub. Film Hub is just a wonderful, wonderful service for independent filmmakers to get their film out and distributed. I highly recommend Film Hub. Not only is it because it's a sponsor, but because also they have my films and they're doing a wonderful job with it. So all you filmmakers out there, make sure you look into Film Hub. They are fantastic.
And again, people ask us what program we use to broadcast. That would be StreamYard. If you'd like professional looking broadcasts, make sure to go over to StreamYard.
You know, I actually got this Big Gulp cup at Shea Stadium in 1999, and I'm still drinking out of it. How sad is that? Does anybody actually keep these cups that they get at ballparks that are supposed to be disposable?
Does anybody still go to ballparks?
I mean, that's literally Mike. That's a good question. That's literally That's Mike Piazza, who's like a senior citizen on this cup.
Piazza.
Mike Piazza, yeah, and that's Armando Benitez. Mr. Smithson, I hope you're well, brother. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Mr. Meany, hello. I hope you are well. And exciting stuff happening. Exciting stuff tonight. We have the gentleman, the director, and the star of the upcoming film Hideout. Mr. Kris Roselli Bryan Enright will be joining us shortly. And of course, in a few minutes, we'll be joined by our lovely and talented brother from another mother, Grunkle Scott. I called him Stan last week. Grunkle Scott. Grunkle Scott Schiaffo will be on. Hi, Ken. I hope you're well. We're also getting ready for next week. We're going to have an enormous episode with a whole bunch of cool people on it.
I just got an IM from someone that is showing me a picture of only group members can comment. If you are watching it on Roku Rocks, you actually have to add a permission to comment. If not, go over to David Lee Madison's The End of the Night Facebook page or the Tech Defects YouTube channel.
Sweet. Yes, as I was saying. I was throwing you an alley-oop, Mr. Ridgely. My apologies.
Again?
Yeah. Next week, we're going to have the lovely cast and crew of Darkness Waits, the wonderful and talented director Libby McDermott, and co-director and producer Matt Staley, and I think the legendary Jim Crudde will be joining us, and two schleps who are on this show every week will be here, and a whole bunch of fun shenanigans will be ensuing next week on our special Darkness Waits episode. So
That is always a good time.
I'm excited about that. Hi, Ken. Hi, Eric. I hope you guys are well. I hope you had a nice weekend. As we do a lot on this show, I like to talk about films that either were not enormously big, kind of like hidden gems, or films that through just time have kind of faded away from people's eyes. So I have a few films that I dug out the old vault that I want to talk about tonight. I'm curious if you've seen any of these. Where'd you go, Joe? Stay with me, brother.
You're going to pull the film up. I want to.
Do you got like a cat emergency you're running off to?
Libby's saying so excited to hang out. Yes, it's going to be a blast, Libby.
You rock, Libby. We love you. This film, I think, came out in the mid-1990s, and I'm curious if you saw it, Joe. It stars the immortal Bruce Campbell, and it was called Running Time. Now, what? Go ahead. You were going to say something?
And I'd never even heard of it.
Okay. Now, what was really cool about this particular movie, Bruce Campbell's Running Time, is that the entire film, first of all, it was shot in black and white, but the entire film is just one long cut. It's like very film noir, and it has Bruce Campbell, and it's about a bank robbery that goes very, very bad. So if you get a chance, track down Running Time, starring Bruce Campbell. Who else is in this? Anybody we would know? I don't think so. Jeremy Roberts and Anita Barone. But it's a really cool flick. Running Time, starring Bruce Campbell. Definitely worth the 90 minutes that you're going to invest into that little bit. That's a great film. I'm glad Scott Meany is the coolest. Oh, I moved my head. I don't want to show my glare back there. Scott Meany's the coolest. He knows about Running Time. You, Joe, not so much.
Yeah, but he's not drinking out of a Mike Piazza cup either.
There he is. There you go. I don't think Mike Piazza is drinking out of a Mike Piazza cup. The other movie, and it's actually I'm going to talk about two movies because they're both on the disc. It was one of those multi-disc sets. But both of them kind of fall under the same category, and they were both great films. I think they might have been both in the mid to late 80s, if I'm not mistaken. But just two Wes Craven films that get very, very little love, but I absolutely adore, were People Under the Stairs and Shocker. Now, Joe, I know you had to have seen these movies.
Both of them. And
Okay.
we've spoken with Jan Birch from People Under the Stairs many times.
Yes, Everett McGill, who plays the main villain in People Under the Stairs, is just fantastic in this movie. You might also know Everett McGill as the priest in Silver Bullet. He's just a wonderful actor. He was also in that David Lynch. He was also in Twin Peaks. It was fantastic. And Shocker, which is about a crazed killer who goes through electrical wires, a really cool flick. Had a very young Peter Berg. Just really fantastic popcorn B-movies. If you could be up one night and you want to sit down and enjoy solid B-movie entertainment, it's great. Oh, Brandon, you have impeccable taste. Everett McGill in that movie is just unbelievable. It's just a fun flick. If you get a chance, check out People Under the Stairs.
And for all you rockers out there, Shocker has a great soundtrack.
Does it really?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody I know, or is it kind of like unknown people?
Alice Cooper.
Oh, okay. It's I gotcha. Now, the next film, the director went on to be maybe one of the most influential and powerful directors. Ving Rhames is in that one. He's the guy who goes in with the kids. Yeah. The next movie, this director went on to become one of the most famous directors in Hollywood, and as we speak is directing the new Doctor Strange movie. He directed this little horror superhero movie in 1989, and it had two people who went on to be Academy Award winners. It's Darkman. Darkman is just wonderful movie. Liam Neeson plays Darkman, of course. Frances McDormand, who just was in Nomadland, plays his girlfriend. And if you look really closely at the end, right before the credits, the wonderfully talented Bruce Campbell
Yes, Bruce Campbell's in the crowd.
Yeah, has a cameo scene. He's the guy who Darkman turns into at the end of the movie. So those are my suggestions. If you get a chance to watch some cool flicks, those are the ones I suggest. They're all kind of B serial films, but they're just great movies. Darkman is underrated. It's one of the most, excuse me, it was one of the most beautifully shot films of maybe all time as far as the cinematic beauty of that movie. I think two horror films. Good.
Well, from what I read, if it wasn't for Darkman, there wouldn't be Spider-Man.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be the MCU, to be honest with you. It's so two horror films that are just so cinematically beautiful that don't get the historical love that they deserve. Is A, Darkman, and B, The Lost Boys. Joel Schumacher's color schemes in The Lost Boys. I remember even when it came out, I was a big Fright Night fan, and I ran out to go see Lost Boys, and seeing a movie that popped, literally it looked three-dimensional on the screen back in the 80s was just fantastic. The way Durant used that cigar cut. Yes. I would love to have my own finger collection. That'd be pretty cool. But
was Liam Neeson in part 2?
No. Arnold Vosloo, the guy who went on to be in the Mummy pictures, the bad guy in the Mummy pictures, played the Mummy, was took over the Darkman movies. But sadly, the Darkman movies, the sequels, were just low budget, direct to VHS. See, look at that. Brilliant minds think alike. Were just much smaller budget, direct to VHS movies, but they were fun in and of themselves. They weren't anything too fantastic.
I did something silly this weekend.
Okay.
And I don't recall seeing it when it came out, so I watched it on Saturday night. I watched the reboot of Fright Night.
The one with Colin Farrell? My deepest and sincerest condolences.
I was kind of shocked with what I saw. It was.
I literally spoke about a year after it came out. I'm friends with Kris Roselli, and I spoke to Kris about that movie, and I was just like, dude, they must have really paid you a lot of money for you to agree to do that movie. And he was like, yeah, they did. I was just like, I don't know what they were thinking.
It wasn't that good, in my opinion.
No. I mean, everything is subjective,
Right.
I mean, McLovin playing Evil Ed, really? I mean, just like, no. It's funny, if they called that movie anything other than Fright Night, it would have been a decent B popcorn horror movie. But the fact that they called, that a Fright Night movie was just uncalled for and bad and all things not good.
Well, I'm assuming it's about time to bring up Gunkle Scott. Grunkle. Okay.
Yes. Like great uncle Grunkle.
Gotcha.
Gunkle sounds like something like stuck in a drain pipe. Ooh, Gunkle Scott. Quick, get some drain opener.
I've acquired a new squeak in my chair, which I'm really not liking because I go back and forth a lot. Okay, I'm going to have to fix that. Anyway, everybody who is tuning in now, please do not forget to go to David Lee Madison's The End of the Night Facebook page. Give it a like and a subscribe. Same thing with Tech Defects on YouTube. Give it a like and subscribe. That's where all his episodes are going to be archived. And that's all I got.
Without further ado, a living legend in his own mind, Mr. Grunkle Scott Schiaffo.
In his own mind, he's a living legend. What are you talking
I know. He knows I love him. I'm just teasing him.
I'm not even on camera and the loving is starting.
Oh,
right?
Grunkle Scott, who loves you more than I do? Honestly.
Not many. Hey, Sean, listen, I love the films you're talking about there, my brother. Running Time, there actually is. I think there might be even 2 edits in Running Time because there certainly wasn't enough film for it to be no edits. It was shot on film, and that is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant movie. The acting is superb. Basically, they had to rehearse it like a play, and I'm with you on that one. That one is just spot on.
You know what's funny?
Yes.
What's funny about that movie is that it really went all but unnoticed. It's like nobody knows about that movie.
Well, I think probably largely because it's not a feature length. So, and you're talking about a time you didn't nearly have the distribution and the places to place your movie if it weren't a feature. It was
No, it's a feature. It's 93 minutes.
Are you 93 minutes? Somebody check that, because I don't know it's 93 minutes. I thought it was well under 80, actually.
Oh, you're correct. It's 70, but it's still officially a feature.
Right. Brilliantly done. I mean, wow. For what they did technically, the acting is really superb as a result.
This cat looks familiar. Do we know him from anything?
I think Raimi may have used him somewhere else.
Oh, wait. You know who that dude is? That's the dude who shoots Uncle Ben.
There you go.
In Spider-Man?
Yeah. Spider-Man kills him in that abandoned building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they a lot of the folks in that film are part of the Raimi Campbell world. I think actually Ted might be. Is Ted in Running Time at all?
I don't know. He doesn't say his name on the box.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a superb. If you're a Bruce Campbell fan and you haven't seen that, you're really in for a treat when you find it, because it's
that's the dude who kills who goes to the wrestling match and robs the wrestling match and then kills Uncle Ben.
There you go. And The People Under the Stairs was loosely based on my life in the 90s. No, and
the question: were you Everett McGill, or were you the kid who was trapped in the house? That's the question.
I was doing it. No, it was just a silly joke. And the third one was, because I've got short-term memory loss.
It was Shocker and Darkman.
Oh, right, Darkman. Well, Darkman again. Raimi is nothing short of one of our generation's most brilliant filmmakers.
I cannot wait to see Doctor Strange, the new Raimi picture. It's funny because the people who are part of the movie, or who have already saw a rough cut of it, are saying that it's the first scary Marvel Cinematic Universe film. So that should be pretty cool.
But Raimi is just, I'm a huge Raimi guy.
What do you guys think about over the last couple days, Andrew Garfield came out and said he is 100% definitely not in the new Spider-Man movie. Do you think it's all lip service, or do you think he's really, all the rumors about it being a multiverse with all the Spider-Mans in it is a fake rumor?
If it's not this film, it's going to be the next film.
Well, don't they? And I'm not that great with knowing the details of a lot of superhero films. I enjoy them, but they're not my particular thing. But don't they age out the Spider-Mans after 10 years?
Yeah, but the new Spider-Man movie is supposed to have the new Spider-Man Tom Holland, and it's supposed to have Tobey Maguire, and it's supposed to have Andrew Garfield. But Andrew Garfield swears up and down that he is not in the new Spider-Man.
Huh. Don't know about what's going to happen with that, but...
By the way, last week's episode with the legendary Melanie Chartoff, I couldn't stop thinking about that episode all week. I mean, to really think about and reflect upon what that woman did with her career and the people she got to work with. I mean, literally, Steve Martin, Robin Williams, Johnny Carson, anybody, every name that you could come up with as far as historical comedic actors, she came across. And that's really just amazing how somebody who had such an amazing career could still remain so humble and self-aware and self-focused. It was really a treat interviewing her.
Well, she, spanning all those decades, she came up at a time, women had it tough. They were second-class citizens in a lot of ways, especially in comedy. in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and that began to change. But she was part of that changeover, and she lived to tell, and she's a wonderfully talented woman.
Yeah, I know, and Robin Williams is just a national treasure. We all miss him, Sean. When you think about that, she got to work with those people, and she's still so young and vibrant, and she still has such a wonderful future in the industry. It just boggles my mind. With that being said, Mr. Ridgely, are our wonderful and talented guests in the green room?
Yeah, Kris is looking dead ahead, but I don't know. Brian, do we have your attention? Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay. Tonight, I am honored and thrilled. We have the director and the star of an upcoming wonderful film called Hideout joining us, Mr. Kris Roselli and Bryan Enright. Bryan has been a dear friend of mine for many years. He's been on our show before. Has also known Joe for a long while, and just is a great guy. And I can't wait to talk to Kris about his upcoming film and his his films that he worked on in the past. Ladies and gentlemen, the gentlemen from Hideout. Hey, Kris.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having us.
It's absolutely our pleasure. And Bryan, I must say that just like Joe, you two are in the wrong medium. You guys should have a morning show together in drive time in a major city, doing Scott Shannon and stuff, because you guys both have voices and faces for radio.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, if Joe's down for it, let me know, Joe.
Oh, absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Joe and Bryan on the Z Morning Zoo. Yay!
So yeah, you're right. Bryan and I have known each other for a couple of years. Again, we were talking backstage a little while ago, and he had this nice little format on Facebook. It was called VHS at Midnight.
Yeah, that was
I wasn't sure if I got it right. I wasn't sure if it changed names or something at one point, but VHS at Midnight. At midnight on Friday, was it Friday nights?
Yeah.
Friday nights, he would get some obscure horror movie that most people would never have heard of. And then we'd all watch it together online and just either goof on it or have conversations. It was a freaking blast.
That sounds awesome. That was like, what was that show? It was like a Muppet and a robot watching movies together.
Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
Theater.
Yeah,
You kinda
I
had
know
your own-
Scott Meany knows what that is. He's a big fan of that.
Alrighty. So, gentlemen, Kris, I want to ask you first. Hideout, which is coming out, from what I understand, is going to be coming out sometime in the near future. You're going to be doing some festival circuits, and from everything I read and saw, your film looks fantastic.
Oh,
Congratulations. Tell me a little bit about. I see that this is your first. This is your first full-length feature that you're going to release.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the shorts you've done in the past, and what gave you the passion to become a filmmaker.
Well, David, I've been making films my whole life. I remember when I was little, my dad gave me his old video camera, and just since then I've just been, working on filmmaking and writing and the whole thing. So I've just been making shorts probably the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like one a year, and I just do the film fest with them, and I just continue writing, and then right now I have about 6 features, and I have to kind of decide, like, after I was done my last short, I was like, I'm gonna finally do a feature with one of my scripts. So I ended up picking Hideout. It's just the most fun one. It's the most entertaining. It would be the one that I would want to take my friends to see, like in the theater,
Oh, sweet.
You're, just excited to talk about it, and it's just a good time.
Now, as a young man, as you still are, who are some of the filmmakers and directors that inspired you to want to become a director?
Oh man, off the top of my head, definitely Scorsese.
Mm-hmm.
I love Clint Eastwood movies. Spielberg. I love obscure directors too. I grew up working at a indie theater in South Jersey. From like 16 to like 23, I worked there. So I would see all these foreign movies, real obscure stuff. So I feel like almost every movie I see or a director has like something good to take away from them. But definitely Scorsese, Tarantino, Clint Eastwood.
Sweet. Have you ever divulged into like Wells and Hitchcock?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're great. You know, it's funny when you pulled up, real quick, when you pulled up Darkman, that movie scared the shit out of me when I was little. I remember seeing that on TV, and I was like, "What is this?" And then that was one of those movies. Like years later, I figured out what it was. It's like stuck in your head. Like, I know this Darkman.
You know what I did? I actually played hooky from school in my senior year to run out to watch Darkman, and I sat in the theater and I had to watch it twice because it was just so cinematically beautiful at the time. Sam Raimi had a way of shooting with like light and every time Darkman was in his lab, there was beautiful like sunlight beams coming through, and it was just something I'd never seen before. It was just so cool. Joe, do you have, by any chance, the trailer for Hideout queued up and ready to go so that we could talk about it?
I do, but now I'm kind of offended because Kris said that he was scared of Darkman when he was a little kid. That just makes me feel old, and it kind of hurt my feelings, but that's beside the point. I will still play the trailer.
When he's a little kid, I was old enough to drink when Darkman came out. What are you talking about?
I was in the Keys in Florida my freshman year or just after my freshman year of high school.
Was Darkman 89 or 91? It's one of those 2 years.
90 or 91.
Okay.
91. Yeah, because I was about to become a sophomore. But we're going to talk short films also. We're going to talk about cuddles in a bit. All right, here is the Hideout official trailer.
Do you believe in God? Yeah. Yeah, I do. It's good to believe in something, to have faith. Do you believe in the devil?
Is he dying? Sarah! What? Give him my feet! One of our friends has been shot.
Who are all you people?
They are not who they say they are.
You're all going to die tonight.
Yay! You know what, dude? That looks fantastic. It really does. Congratulations.
It really, really does. That is a well-crafted trailer, gentlemen.
And it has a very if Joe Dante and Rob Zombie had a love child, that's kind of the vibe that you give there, man. It's just you very, very. It's well crafted, and I don't know how you got performance out of Brian here, man. That you must have been like shooting him up with morphine or something because he looks.
I can never look at him the same way again.
Man, he looks scary, and his performance is riveting, dude. You know I love you, and I'm just teasing you. You look awesome, you really do. Congratulations!
Thank you, I appreciate it. Hey, it's acting.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to, man.
I might actually have to put your number in my Rolodex. I was always horrified of doing that, but now I might have to. Congratulations. I'm speechless. It looks wonderful. I can't wait to see that movie. So congratulations. Before we go into Hideout, Joe, you want to talk to him about one of his shorts?
Well, that's what I wanted to.
Oh, good.
Brian, you started a few years ago making your own shorts before Is that when you first started acting?
No, I've been acting since I was 4. I did a lot of community theater, and I went to school in New York called AMDA in 2009. Didn't quite graduate. Couldn't afford it, so they kicked me out. So then I went back home and worked odd jobs here, and then built up my craft. And then I started. One day I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make a short horror movie." And then I gathered a bunch of friends and their friends, and we went out and we shot without permits, and we did a lot of fun stuff. We put a little horror movie together, and I even did the theme song. I'm actually singing in the theme song for Cuddles too. You can find that on YouTube. And I wanted so bad to get into trauma. I've always been obsessed with trauma, and I wanted to get a short film into trauma, kind of like be like, hey, I'm also an actor. It didn't make it into trauma, so I was quite heartbroken. So then I was just like, well, you know what? I made a short movie. I did something. I'm glad I did it. And then I just kind of went off and started doing like community theater again. And then I finally got cast as the lead in the Full Monty, the musical. And then after that, I got bit by the acting bug again. And I must have sent over, I think the total was like 217 auditions after that. Like Skype auditions and just for backstage actors access. And then I found this guy, Kris Roselli, posting on one of the Facebook pages I follow for Philly actors, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna audition." And the roles for like a convict, or convict-like. So I shaved my head, and this was how fed up I was that I wasn't landing any roles anywhere after the Full Monty, and I wanted to be in film so bad. Film has always been my passion, especially like to act in a horror movie too. And so I shaved my head, and I did the scenes for Kris, and Kris kept calling me back to do different scenes from the movie. And then he gave me the text. He's like, hey, man, you're great. I want to cast you as Kyle. And then we met up at Applebee's one day, and we just hit it off from there. So, I mean, it's just got to jump into it if you want to get into this world, whether it's making a short horror movie or just getting completely naked in front of strangers on stage. You got to do it.
And spinning a box.
I should have, right?
Now, can you guys tell us a little bit, without giving anything away, what the movie is about?
Yeah. Okay, so the basic synopsis, you have a group of thieves who botch a robbery in the beginning. They're robbing a liquor store. So they botch this robbery, and they come across this house. They're running from the cops, and they're hiding out in the woods at this old creepy house. And the only people who live there are this old woman and this young girl. And then obviously, they're on the news, and the cops are looking for them. And then the old lady and the young girl see the news, and the tables turn, and they're like hostages now. So now, the tables turn, and then, the people in the house aren't who they say they are. So they're actually worse than, Brian and his friends. So,
nice.
It
looks like there's definitely some trippy stuff involved also.
Yeah, it's fun. There's tons of twists and turns and suspense. It just, when I wrote it, it was just a major exercise in just suspense and how many twists and turns I could do, manipulating the audience, and playing with people's emotions and stuff like that. So there's definitely some really fun stuff in it.
Brian
Thanks,
Brian, can you take this one?
Oh, at Brandon? Yeah, South Jersey represent, man.
Read the comment.
Well, you got to read it.
Congrats, Kris and Brian.
There you go. Trailer looks awesome. Can't wait to see it. Way to represent South Jersey, fellas. That's right. South Jersey represent.
Woo! Thanks, Brandon.
You guys have an you know what? It sucks getting old and bitter and jaded, because I miss having that infectious attitude about making films that you guys have. I usually make a movie and somebody like Stephen Jeffries or Brian O'Halloran or Scott Schiaffo shows up, and it just all goes to shit right after that, man. Literally 5 minutes after they show up on set, it's all like, where's my trailer? I don't have green M&Ms in my bowl.
David,
and at the end of the day, David needs some salve or ointment.
David,
Wow.
Brian's like in his trailer, he only wants the green M&Ms. He's like, I'm not down unless I only have the green M&Ms. I was like,
You know, I'm not shocked because back when we did the end of the night talk show, you know, like 8 years ago, he was the same way. I get it.
no, I'm kidding. Brian was fantastic.
So how many days of principal photography did you guys put this film together with?
Brandon, we filmed in Millville. So we only shot for 11 days. The script was about 95 pages. We only shot for 11 days. Year pre-pro, 7 months of post. 11 days of production.
Sweet. In the trailer, I hear it sounds like a very poppy kind of 50s song. Is that something that you guys created for the movie, or is that actually something that existed?
So I'm huge on music in movies. I think that's just so important. Like you hear a song, you're like, oh, that's from that movie, or that's from that. If you go see a Tarantino movie or a Scorsese movie, they're huge on just like their iconic soundtrack and stuff like that. So when I wrote this, I had all iconic songs from the 40s, 50s, and 60s in it. It had like that kind of vibe to it. So it was like really heavy and suspenseful and dark, but it had like the poppy soundtrack to counter it. So all the songs that I wanted in there were like through the roof expensive. There's no way I'm getting this movie. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I need these kind of songs for this movie. So, a lot of talking to bands and, just doing research and it's like months of looking for songs that would also work. So I actually found a lot of really cool songs to like go in the movie that I'm happy with. So
as an old hack, I can give you a little clue on how to get catalog songs that you like in your movies without paying and totally legally. You go to a small record label, like let's say a Shinachi Records. That's a real record label. It's a small record label. Mm-hmm. And you give them a list of the songs that you want to have in your film, especially if they're catalog songs. They then secure the rights of those songs for your soundtrack, but they keep the rights to release your soundtrack. And they make money off of releasing your soundtrack, but you get to use the songs.
Oh, that is really cool. I'm going to remember that.
It's a very, very good way to get tracks in films that are catalog tracks. Just a little hint.
That's awesome. Cool.
Wow. Put me out of work.
I
get hired to do a lot of knockoff stuff because people can't pay the licensing of something classic. Quick example, I worked on a short film where I was in the cast, and the name of the movie is Linger, and the song from the Cranberries, Linger, was never going to get that, but we stole its essence in the studio, and there was no vocal, but we captured the mood, and that's a lot of what I've been doing aside from acting over the last 30 years. But I never heard that trick, Dave. That's a pretty cool thing too, because then you get the actual tracks.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing with my new movie. I have songs that I never thought in a million years I'd get, but I always find the sneaky, underhanded way to get around everything, because I'm
that's cool.
evil. I'm evil. Scott, these guys are up and coming independent filmmakers. Kris, clearly a talented director, and Bryan, an overly talented young actor.
Clearly,
you have been you had a featured role in probably this is not an over exaggeration, probably the biggest, most commercially successful independent comedy of all time, Clerks. You're a major part of that film. What could you tell these gentlemen as far as giving them advice for future endeavors, or anything that you could tell these guys that you think would be helpful?
Well, I got to say, after seeing the trailer, they're well on their way, and that's not lip service. A trailer really, I'm a trailer junkie. I love trailers. I'll literally watch trailers for 3 hours. I have a Plex server with like 3,000 movies and I'm just watching all the trailers. I dig trailers, and I learn a lot about editing from trailers as well. And not only is that well crafted, but I got what you did with the, poppy tune versus what's really going on in the scene. I got that immediately. And you, Mr. Enright, you're doing all this theater, and I love film. I've loved film since I was old enough to understand what it was I'm watching. And theater acting and film acting are night and day. And I saw just in the trailer the subtleties of the choices you made. Outstanding.
Thank you.
Because you went from theater, which they got to hear you 100 rows back. There's really not a lot of subtlety on the stage. It's just the nature of the beast. And film is all about subtlety. And you nailed it. So you were on the boards, getting your chops up and doing your homework, but you translate to film brilliantly. So these guys are, they're on their way. They don't need any, just keep doing what you're doing. And like Dave said, you got to have a real love and passion for it. And I think it's pretty obvious you do. So I think you better stay seated for, I'm sure once you hit the festivals, you're going to get a lot of amazing reaction.
And what's also amazing is, as Kris said earlier, is that there are songs that are intrinsically connected with films. And when I say Mr. Sandman, what movie do you think of?
Halloween 2?
Absolutely. I mean, it could be a summer day. I could be driving a convertible with my hair flapping in the wind in beautiful weather. And if I have a 50 station on, if fucking Mr. Sandman starts, I'm literally like, Michael Myers is here somewhere. I'm looking in the back seat. And it's and that's what's really cool about the marriage between an interesting case study is if you watch a movie like the original Halloween, which I think is a cinematic masterpiece. If you watch the original Halloween with just the vocal track, if you take all the music out of that movie, it's pretty much an unwatchable piece of crap, to be honest with you. That movie is perpetuated by the suspenseful music and by just a wonderful score. And it's very, very important. It's a lesson that I need to learn. I need to get some good music in my movies. I always have Scott do it. So, with that being...
Taking a beating here, man.
Wow.
I love you, Mrs. Shaffer. You know I'm teasing.
For good music.
You got a point there. Damn it! If I just paid him more, the movie would have been better. Damn it. Well, so now you guys have the movie. It's in the can. What are you doing next?
Well, next, we're submitting to film festivals. We're doing research on distribution. We just want to get it out there to everybody that we can. And we want to do it the right way. So, I'm not in any immediate rush to sell it, but I'm talking to a bunch of distributors, and we're getting a lot of really good feedback from it, which is really exciting.
I understand what you're saying, but I also want you to be careful because there's this weird thing that goes on with independent movies that if you drop a trailer and then take a very, very long time to release the movie, for some reason it is automatically a stigma attached to that movie. I don't know why it is. It's like, oh, they couldn't get distribution. It's just a lesson that you have to learn that even though you make this film and you're super excited about it and you have a wonderful trailer and great stuff, you have to wait to make sure that you have something in place before you release it too early. It's just something that you have to learn. Would you say that's a fair assessment, Scott?
Yes. I haven't. I'm primarily an actor and a musician. As far as the production side, I mean, I've done a lot of editing too, but the businessy side, I haven't been real privy to a lot of what goes on. But I do think there's a lot of wisdom in what you're saying about the time frame. And we live now I mean, you guys are complaining about being old. I'm the oldest one on the screen. I know that. I'm definitely the oldest guy on this show right now. But I've seen decades of how the business has changed. And now there's a tremendous amount of places to get the film, but there's also a tremendous amount of content that's just mind-boggling. So I think what you're saying, David, probably has quite a lot of validity.
Yeah, you just have to be careful because Scott and I just did a movie called Wit's End, and because the film, I had to shoot the film in at least 3 to 4 feet of snow because it's about a guy who gets trapped in a major blizzard. So it was shot over 3 winters, but after the first year we were shooting it, I had so much cool footage. I was excited to show people. It's just the way when you're a filmmaker, you want to show stuff. You get excited and you want it to get out there. And the mistake I made is that I cut a trailer after the movie was not completed. And then the movie took 3 more years, and it's like, oh, what's the matter? Did the movie, did you have trouble getting distribution? It was just not done. It was what the case was. And it's just a it's a lesson that every independent filmmaker has to learn. Brian's looking to see if the Rangers won. I don't think they played tonight.
No, I was getting notifications from the show that we're on right now, and I was just reading the comments. I didn't look at that. If you click comments, you can see the comments.
Yeah. You didn't see that?
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. David, real quick.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, we're thinking like probably by the fall, we should definitely have it out.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's more than enough time. And I'm not trying to rain on your parade at all. I'm trying to honestly, I love independent filmmakers. Everybody will tell you I'm always about teaching more than I am about anything, from learning about lessons that, pitfalls and mistakes I made myself. I'm just trying to help you avoid a pratfall, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't listen to
And
me.
obviously, we're dying to see it as well.
Yes, we're dying to see it.
There you go.
It's a fantastic looking film.
It really is a killer trailer, man.
Thanks.
It really is.
I love to cut trailers. Like I'm like you, Scott, where like I could just watch trailers.
And I do that a lot, actually. It's weird. I'll spend an entire evening just watching trailers. Movies I know well, old movies.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I enjoy the nostalgia of watching old trailers.
Yeah,
But yeah, you did spot on. It's got all the elements. It's got the tease element. It doesn't give away too much. It's quality. So some of the low budget stuff, when the quality is really subpar and that somehow even leaks into the trailer, it's just not a good representation for the film. That's just a really killer trailer, man. Good. If the film is 1/3 as good as the trailer, which we know how trailers are too. A lot of films are.
yeah.
And, the trailer is the best thing. But I don't think you're going to have any problem getting that thing seen and appreciated. It's how.
What did you guys shoot that on?
A C300 Mark II.
Okay, that's a Canon camera?
Yeah.
Oh.
They shot like Blue Ruin on it. They shoot a bunch of stuff on it, but I love the texture of it and the way it plays with the shadows. Real nice. But I knew I wanted to shoot on that camera.
Now, did you use any LUTs or like film convert?
Nope. We didn't use any LUTs. We didn't. We just did. I did a lot of research on just lighting that I liked and just schemes and stuff like that. And then I got a really killer colorist too. So yeah, we just kept it real simple. I always just look at like what can we put in front of the camera. Nothing doesn't have to be anything fancy most of the time.
No, it really has a sheen to it. It looks extremely well made, and I can't wait to see it. Now, after you guys did this film together, which is going to Hideout, which is going to be coming hopefully soon, do you guys plan on working together again?
Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah.
I'll work with Brian again.
Yeah, I mean, Kris is a great director. I would love to be attached to. And he contacts me all the time. He's like, "Hey, man, what do you think about this idea and this idea?" And then we talk a lot. We talk every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Sweet.
I'm definitely writing, and I'll message Brian like, "Oh, Brian, what do you think?" He'll let me know.
I see, Brian, you're involved with the new what is it, Circus of the Dead or Army of the Dead? Or...
Yeah, so I got to audition as a zombie for Army of the Dead, and I was put as one of the featured zombies for Army of the Dead that was shot in Atlantic City in 2019 at the Showboat Casino. Even though the movie takes place in Las Vegas, it really takes place in South Jersey. And they brought us in. They brought my wife and I in, and we auditioned. We got to be zombies for the movie, and we were there for 2 weeks. And at the time, it was a non-union gig, but the rate was $225 per 10 hours. And I could kick myself because I wasn't SAG at the time, but we were there for like 16-hour days. And if 16-hour days with SAG after, it's a golden hour. So you start making your day rate each hour. So they made the money, but for non-union, it was still a good job, gig to get. It was $225 for a day, and then you start getting overtime once you get over to 10 hours. So they had us in prosthetics, they had us in makeup, they had us walk around the dark hallways of the casino, chasing after Dave Bautista and friends. And at the same time, there was, I believe, New Jersey HorrorCon convention that was going on there in Atlantic City, and they had to change floors to the upper floor for the convention because the lower floor was all set. So it was pretty cool to have that going on while we were there shooting. But I got to be directed by Zack Snyder himself, which was awesome because at the time he was being hated on for what he did with the DC movies. This was before he had a chance to do the director's cut and everything. And Army of the Dead was something he wanted to do for the longest time. And you could say that that the movie looks like a ripoff of modern zombie movies, but he wrote this movie back in early 2000s. So it was cool to be directed by him. He was very friendly. He was so excited because this was his passion project, and he was so excited to have us on set, and he was talking to all the extras. He was talking to all the zombies. He made everyone feel like we were welcome. So that was a pretty cool gig. I didn't get to do a whole lot except be a zombie, but I mean, still, it was fun to work with Zack Snyder.
It's a total bummer because I'm all but completed with a film called Full Moon Fever, and my next film was a movie that I wrote back in 1997 called Armies of the Night. And I'm like, damn it, it just sounds too close to the Zack Snyder film. So I can't make that movie.
No, get it done.
I have to call it something else. How do you guys like this title for a film, The Slick and the Slender? Is it too weird?
No, I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good.
Are you happy with it?
I have no idea.
I like it.
Okay.
Dave, you know what I like to do when I'm writing a script? I'll open up a Word doc and I'll just have a list of potential titles. And I'm like,
It's funny because it's so important. There is one a great friend of mine who's a major distributor was going to buy my film Wit's End from me. But he was only going to buy it if he could turn the title to Out in the Cold. And I just wasn't feeling it, I was like, really? Out in the Cold? I mean, I like Wit's End, so I didn't give it to him.
Here's one for you, Brian.
Brian, was it fun playing what looks like a psychopath in Hideout? Abso-fucking-lutely. I had such a blast playing someone that I'm not usually, in real life. Yeah, except when I'm angry. And that's the thing though, because it's so hard to get cast in movies when people see me what I am on a daily basis. They see me as a nice guy. They see me as oh, okay, he does a lot of radio shows. He writes for horror websites and everything like that. And now people get to see as what an actor does when they film a movie such as Hideout. They go through the different challenges that they face as if they were the character themselves, because they are the character. And then I think the hardest part about Hideout and doing everything is I have to wait for the people to see the movie Hideout. and then they'll be like, oh, okay, he can do that, and I wonder what else he's going to be in. Because as an actor, if you don't have any like demo reels or anything, and the public or casting directors don't know how you act, it's really hard to break the mold. But hopefully, Hideout opens that pathway. I would love to play villains in every movie that I get a chance to audition for. It would be great.
You look like a.
The villains are always more fun than the good guy. It's just the way it is.
Well, Scott, your turn in Vulgar. I mean, that character is nothing. I mean, that was just an amazing performance by you. It was very, very icky, and it's just not.
Yeah.
And
He
it's
was
just
a
not.
real piece of work. Yeah, a real piece of work. Although, truth be told, at that time in my life, having altercations with the men in blue was not the biggest stretch in the world. So, hey, but I never held a gun to a child's head in real life.
Well, that's good to hear. The night's still young.
This is true. Oh, man.
So
It's a blessing to everybody. I'm sober.
I got a
Public
question
service.
for Kris and Brian, or either or. So, say Blockbuster Video was still around. I walk into Blockbuster. What section is Hideout going to be in?
It's going to be in the horror section, definitely.
It is a horror. Okay.
Maybe romantic comedy. I don't know, Brian. What do you think?
I think it's a rom-com sounds good, or foreign film.
Do we have
I wasn't
the
sure if it
poster?
was a horror or a thriller or.
Yeah, definitely in the horror section, Joe. I would say I would put it in horror. Yeah.
Joe, do you have the poster you could pop up on screen? Because it looks really awesome from behind Brian. Do we have it or no?
I love that your expectations are that high of me, but I downloaded the trailer.
He had the trailer. That was pretty epic.
Oh,
You know what? In all fairness, I didn't give him anything, and it's my fault. So
All right.
No, it's okay. I'll send you the the cover art on Facebook.
Do it while we speak. I'd love to see it pop up.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that poster up close.
look at Scott. He's like so sure that Joe has the ability just to pop it up if Ryan sends it to him.
How could he not? It's a JPEG or whatever, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's a JPEG.
Yeah.
No habla inglés, por favor.
Hey,
Come on. Do we need JPEG music? Come on. Put the poster up. It's on the wall. It's got to
What
be.
were you going to say, Chris? I heard you.
Oh.
Were you going to ask me something?
Yeah, I was looking at the comments. CJ said, Chris, was it fun directing that psychopath Bryan Enright in Hideout? I just want to answer his question real quick. So Bryan was a lot of fun to direct. He was just so into it, and we worked on his scenes for just like months in advance, and he was just ready. Like, we just knew him like the back of his hand, and he just killed it. So yeah, it's cool when like they don't have to learn their lines on set. You always want to make sure they know the scenes, they know what they're doing. That's pre-pro. When they're on set, it's just making it better and making it work with the scene. So yeah,
Just when you guys become like the next Zack Snyder and the next Robert Downey Jr., remember this poor old schlep and let him be a production assistant or something on your end.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I would love to act with you, David.
You're using the term very loosely.
Love to act with Scott too, and then Joe, if you want to make a movie, I'll act with you too.
Yeah, there you go.
Apparently, I have a face for radio.
Oh, there
All
you go.
right.
There I
You
am.
cover Scott up.
Well, Brian, you look just like an actor that Scott and I worked with named Waylon. Doesn't he look like that Waylon cat in that poster? Put that poster up for a minute.
Oh yeah. There's a resemblance in the face.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, tell Waylon he needs to see Hideout.
Yeah. And you need to see Darkness Waits.
All right. Yeah, I'll see Darkness Waits.
Yeah,
All right.
I tell you just in the trailer, I saw you made some really nice choices because, speaking from an actor point of view, it's hard to reinvent the wheel. There's been a million great psychos on screen. So what choices do you make to somehow stand out and be a little different as a psycho? And that's not easy at
No.
all. And what you did in the trailer was wonderful. It's all about subtle moments, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did a lot of. I'm a cinephile like the rest of you guys here. Like we love watching movies. I grew up watching horror movies, action movies. I've always wanted to be an action star, but I guess I'll do horror because I like being a bad guy. But I've always looked into like the actors who don't get a lot of recommendations. Like one of my biggest influences when I was channeling Kyle was Joe Spinell from Maniac. And it's a movie that it's loved. It's a cult movie. It's loved by a large audience, but not many people know about it. And then Elijah Woods went and played in the remake. But Joe Spinell was someone that I highly admired as a human being, and of course actor. And then of course I got the toy. There's scenes I get to toy around with a little bit of Jack Nicholson from The Shining. And that was a note that Kris, it told me that he would enjoy seeing Kyle act like. And of course, you throw yourself into the mix. What would you do if you were this character? So I had a lot of inspirations doing Kyle, and I'm really excited for you guys to see the performance and the movie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I want to say hello to everybody at Haven for Heroes. It's a great comic book and toy store over in Port Jervis, New York. So if you get a chance, if you're in Orange County, New York, and you love collectibles, stop into Haven for Heroes. He's just a great guy. With that being said, gentlemen, is there anything you would like to enlighten our audience before we go about Hideout?
Yeah, if you guys want to add us on Facebook, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. Just search Hideout Movie, and you'll see it pop up. And just add us. You can follow us for updates where you can see it first. And we're excited to watch it with you.
Mr. Enright, anything you'd like to? People could follow you or learn about what projects you're working on. Like Kris was saying, the best things that you can see right now or follow is the Hideout Instagram page and the Hideout Facebook page. You can follow my Bryan Enright actor page. I hardly update it. I think the last time I updated it was last year when I announced that I was cast in Hideout. But you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram or I think I have a Twitter. I'm not sure. I think I had one with the B Movies days, but yeah, you can follow me anywhere. But I highly recommend following Hideout because I'm sure there's going to be tons of stuff coming. It just really looks like a fantastic film. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I implore everybody who watches the end of the night to check out check out this film, check out these young filmmakers. They're absolutely fantastic. They're the next generation of big time filmmakers. Their work speaks for itself. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on our show tonight.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, David.
Thanks. Our pleasure.
See you next time. Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Sweet.
Whoa, man, what's up with that chair?
It's probably the COVID 10 I put on. Or 20 or 40 or 50. I don't know. It's a relatively new chair, too.
Awesome
So,
guests, man. I really love seeing new cats. You're definitely going to hear from those guys again. When the film gets released, we should catch up with them.
No, all kidding aside, the work looks fantastic. I know that I just met Kris tonight, but I could tell he's a super smart cat and he knows what he's doing, and his film's going to be fantastic. I know Bryan for a long time, and that kid really puts a ton of effort and I think he's going to be a fantastic actor. And I mean no disrespect when I call him a kid. I know him for a long time, and I'm an old man, and to me he's a kid. But you could tell that he's dripping with charisma. You know who he kind of reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of a young Bill Sadler. He kind of has that gravitas in his in being the possibility of being a great character actor. Mr. Smithson, thank you for joining us tonight. You've been with us since day one when we were over at the brigade, and we appreciate you, and we think you're awesome, and you'll always be family to us. Thank you for watching, and I hope your hand is healing well, and I hope everything you're up to is going well. You're just a great guy. So Scott, do you have anything cooking? Anything going on? Anything we need to know?
Well, I know that I'm going to be shooting a scene in a movie with you.
Yes.
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 Okay. So I don't know why you feel like I'm holding out on you. You know I'm not.
I know you're not, Scott.
No,
You're getting too sensitive in your old age, man. I mean, I love you.
But nobody out in TV land knows.
Yes. Well, I realized that Griffin Dunn would definitely take an upper chair from myself, but I'm available to you, brother. We got to figure out when we're going to get to shoot the scene, and I am looking forward to that.
I don't know. Luciana says you look guilty. I'm not sure what you look guilty of. By the way, you just put a new profile picture up, Luciana, and I have to say, don't take this the wrong way because I'm a pathetic married old man. But you are quite a stunning and beautiful woman. That picture you put up especially is very, very nice. So thank you for watching, by the way. He looks guilty. Another awesome show, David, Joe, and Uncle Scott. It's Grunkle Scott. So, Scott, next week we're going to be reunited with our big family show.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because
you're welcome.
Luciana, wake up. Wits End.
No. Next week it's Dead Woman's Hollow.
I know
episode.
that. I realized that. I was making a segue that.
Okay. My apologies.
Wits End and Darkness Waits were two films I was fortunate to be a part of that came out during the pandemic. That was the little thing I was going to say. But Darkness Waits is actually no, it was pandemic time when that came out as well.
No, Darkness Waits I think was before. We went out and we got to see it all together in an enormous screening.
Correct, but when it actually was...
when it actually hit the... okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So I was very fortunate to have films come out that I worked on during the pandemic. That was the point I'm laboring to make. Anyway.
So, Mr. Schiaffo, is there
Yes.
any word on you visiting the Quick Stop anytime soon, or is that something that you don't have any information to share yet?
Well, I could tell you, then I'd have to kill you.
Okay,
No.
you'll be doing me a favor. Thank you.
No, Kevin made a statement not that long ago while we were all on Wizard World's. They sort of video bombed Wizard World's Q&A. And he had said everybody on the screen will be involved in Clerks 3. Now, I don't know. I have been contacted, but there's nothing set. And the bottom line is I'm looking forward to seeing my good buddy Brian O'Halloran get to play Dante again and Marilyn Gigliotti. That's confirmed. We'll see. I know that the script is such that there are opportunities for people from the first film to pop in. And if it's what I think it is, it's going to be so meta and such an amazing circle that it's going to be pretty killer. But I don't know. But yes, in June, I will more than likely be popping down to Leonardo, New Jersey.
No, that is awesome. You know what? I can't imagine why they wouldn't have you. Your character is one of the more iconic ones of the first movie, and the fan base absolutely adores you. So it'd be a crime against humanity if they didn't have you, Mr.
Against humanity.
Against
that
humanity.
Smith guy, he actually said something that it's so true, and it takes a weight off of a lot of people because, of course, a lot of us are asked. He's a slave to his muse, and he's not going to shoehorn somebody in unless it makes sense in the script. And now I know as I'm saying that, I'm thinking people are going, but in the reboot, he just crammed every possible cameo. But that's kind of what the reboot was supposed to be. But Clerks, it has to make sense in the story, and luckily it does. So there's a good chance that I'll be popping around the Quick Stop. But again, I am just so excited for our buddy Brian and Marilyn Gigliotti, who I know are confirmed, obviously, in the film. So we'll see what happens. But
You know what?
Any update on shooting Clerks?
I know that they're really close to getting some kind of distribution and having it out. I think Clerks 3 is definitely going to push that over the top. But it's been a long, hard road for those cats, and I'm not sure why, because I don't get all that involved in the businessy things. But as David has mentioned, just in the time that film was shot and is ready for distribution, the film business changes. A year is like 10 years in the film and music business with technology and how things work or how they don't work. I mean, when the films first started filming, DVDs were still not dead yet.
I see that Ken says Brian needs to bring back his mole rat's hair. Ken, you could seek out a movie that both myself, Brian, and Mr. Schiaffo star in called Middle Village. And Brian has his mole rat's hair throughout Middle Village. So if you want
That's
to see...
a fun one, too. Yeah, good one.
Yeah. It's actually going to be released worldwide digitally for the first time sometime in early June. So I'm excited about that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes. Film Hub is a pretty amazing company for independent filmmakers.
Film Hub, our wonderful sponsors, and
Wonderful.
StreamYard.
Yes. All right, gentlemen. Next week we have the Wonderful Darkness Waits show. We were supposed to have Catherine Mary Stewart tonight. I apologize. Miss Stewart, when she booked, actually picked today, but then she realized that it was Mother's Day and she had an obligation with her kids, so it makes sense. Where?
It's there. It's just pulled back somewhat. That awkward stage going on right now. Scott, you know about the awkward stage when it starts
It's in that
stuff.
They're worrying about your hair, Mr. Ridgely.
Well, they were worried when I cut a foot of it off in January. So
that's what sucks. You're just so studly that everybody's like more concerned about your looks than the content of our brilliant program here.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask you, Mr. Madison.
Yes.
So your new movie, the soundtrack,
Yes.
Tears of a Clown, is that one of the songs?
No. Oh, you had to do that just to make me feel like a schlep.
Smokey Robinson, classic track.
Scott Meany, great show. Love you. It sounds almost like people are trying to get us off the air. Like, great show. It's time for you to go. Thank you for coming. Yes, thank you.
Scott Meany, folks, catch up with him. The guy is a brilliant artist, no matter what the hell he's creating. And
The art of Scott Meany,
I
absolutely.
love the man to death.
Nightmare Fuel. The clowns in my new film Full Moon Fever are just the very, very tip of the iceberg of the Nightmare Fuel in that movie. Other than my performance, of course, which is really the Nightmare Fuel. But there's some really, really scary stuff in that movie. I don't know. I must have been like locked in my house for a year because with the stuff I came up with is like.
And when did you say that was going to theaters?
October. This October. I think the date is the 12th. It's a if the 12th is a Friday, that's the date. So, and it's going to be, oh God, I always forget the cinema chain.
Oh, and you told me, and now I can't remember.
Schiaffo, you are the best. You are the best, my friend. That's what it's.
Oh, that guy's the best. Scott Meany is a badass. See, he's a bad. He really is. That cat's a badass. That cat's the real deal. You know, like Nick Zed is the real deal. These are people who they're artists. The man does not have a choice in it. He's an artist, thick and thin. Which
Who's
I
Nick
love the guy.
Zed?
What can I say? What's that?
Who's Nick Zed?
Oh, okay.
Do you know who he is, Joe?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm glad. I thought when you said it, I thought you were talking about
Zed is dead.
Zed is dead. Yeah, Bruce Willis.
Tarantino was shouting out to the real Nick Zed, who was a New York filmmaker responsible for the cinema of transgression in the 70s and 80s. But I digress. My point is, and I'm going to help you get off because I've got diarrhea of the mouth tonight too. But Scott Meany is one of those rare birds who is an artist in his very essence, and it chose him. He didn't choose it, if you know what I mean.
No, he's
Sweet.
definitely a good guy. I've spoken with Scott in the past. We've had him broadcast with Mr. Schiaffo in the past, and yes, great guy.
And on that note, and Madison, you're no slouch either. You don't give yourself enough credit.
Oh no, I'm a slouch. I'm fine with it though.
Okay, I was trying to be nice,
Yeah,
but
no, he's a slouch.
Yeah,
I'm going to get out of here now, guys. Good night.
Well, Mr. Sheffield, wait. Before you run away, we're gonna wrap the show literally like in 30 seconds.
Okay.
I need you to stay on for 30 seconds longer after the show is off.
Oh, yeah, no.
Good news.
I'm not bailing. I'm just bailing on the on-air part.
No, I hear you. With that being said, go ahead, cut him off. He doesn't want to be on. Grunkle Scott, good night, everybody. Good night, Grunkle Scott. With that being said, I over the last week, I got some news about something that we're going to do on an upcoming show, and I think it's going to honestly just sound so unbelievably corny and so unbelievably unrealistic, but I think it's going to be one of the groundbreaking events of horror in the horror community that everybody in the horror community is going to be talking about, and I just want everybody to know that we're going to do something in the first week of October. I know it's very far away, but I'm going to probably announce it sometime in the next week or two because some things have to be put into place to make it work. But something so unbelievably amazing. Just stick with us. We got some really wonderful things cooking. Joe, before we wrap this train wreck of a show up, do you have anything you want to share with everybody?
No, just everybody again, whoever's joining us right now, please, cannot emphasize enough, go to David Lee Madison's The End of the Night Facebook page. Damn chair. And hit the subscribe button and the like button. Same thing with Tech Defects on YouTube. That's where his shows are going to be archived. And Roku Rocks is where we're all also broadcasting, so give them a like and subscribe also, if you will. Great for streaming platforms and education for streaming.
And awesome. And next week we have the big show, the Dr. Swait show with Matt Staley and Libby McDermott and Jim Crutt and myself and Uncle Scott who are in the movie and Jeff Lineback, and we have a whole bunch of people who are going to be on. It's just going to be one of those party episodes. You never know what celebrity also is going to pop on this show. And with that being said, no man is a failure who has friends. Maybe someday I'll get some. I'll see you guys next week.
Wait.
Okay. All right. I got explicit instructions from Mr. Scott Schiaffo. Now here's the thing, Mr. Schiaffo.
Can I understand for a second?
Go ahead.
I'm asking him, not you.
Oh.
How did I do the entire show without saying Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers? That's all.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day. I want to thank my wife for being a wonderful wife and a wonderful mother. And I know that Mr. Ridgely has a wonderful wife who's also a wonderful mother. And I guess we could start our credits back up now.
Good night, guys.